Come, sit with me for a moment as the day softens into dusk, and let's share a story that carries us toward peace. Life, with its endless currents, often stirs waves of resentment in our hearts, grudges we hold, slights we can't forget. These weigh us down, clouding the clarity we seek. In the gentle wisdom of the Buddha, there's a path to release these burdens, to find mindfulness that frees us. Let me tell you about Maya, a woman whose journey through resentment led her to the quiet strength of presence. Maya was a teacher in a small coastal town, her classroom a haven of order and care. She was known for her warmth, but beneath it she carried a silent grudge. Years ago, a colleague, Sarah, had taken credit for a project Maya poured her heart into. The memory stung, resurfacing when she saw Sarah's name praised in staff meetings. Maya told herself she was above it, but the resentment lingered, a knot in her chest. She worked harder, stayed later, proving her worth to herself and others. Yet at night, the bitterness crept in, stealing her peace. Why does it still hurt? She wondered, alone with her thoughts. One autumn, a new student, Liam, joined her class. He was quiet, often lost in his own world, struggling to keep up. Maya, determined to be the perfect teacher, pushed him to focus, her patience thinning when he faltered. One day she snapped, "You need to try harder, Liam." His eyes met hers, not defiant, but sad. "I'm trying," he whispered. The words pierced her, echoing her own unspoken pain. She saw herself and him striving, yet feeling unseen. That evening she walked to the beach, the waves' rhythm urging her to face the hurt she'd buried. Near the town lived Sister Ananda, an old Buddhist nun whose garden was a place of quiet refuge. Maya had passed her often, struck by her calm. On a whim, she visited, her heart heavy. "I'm holding on to something," Maya admitted, "and it's eating at me." Sister Ananda nodded, her eyes kind. "Resentment is like a stone you carry, thinking it harms another," she said. "The Buddha taught that clinging to anger binds only you. Mindfulness begins when you see it and let it go." She invited Maya to sit with her the next day, to watch the garden in silence. Maya returned, unsure but open. They sat, the air alive with the hum of life birds, leaves, breath. Sister Ananda pointed to a weed among the flowers. "It grows, but we don't curse it. We gently remove it, making space for what blooms." Maya thought of Sarah, of Liam, of her own clenched heart. A proverb stirred within her. Holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting another to suffer. For the first time, she wondered if letting go could be her freedom. Maya began to visit Sister Ananda's garden regularly, drawn to the quiet that seemed to hold answers she couldn't yet grasp. Each morning before the school day began, she sat among the flowers, watching ants march in orderly lines, leaves swaying with the breeze. The nun taught her to notice her breath, to let thoughts come and go like clouds. "Resentment thrives in a distracted mind," Sister Ananda said. "Mindfulness anchors you to now, where anger loses its grip." Maya tried, but her thoughts drifted to Sarah, her smug smile at meetings, the praise she soaked up. The knot in Maya's chest tightened, and she sighed, frustrated. Sister Ananda smiled gently. The Buddha said, "You will not be punished for your anger, but by it. See the thought, Maya, but don't become it." At school, Maya noticed how resentment colored her days. A colleague's casual remark about Sarah's success sparked a familiar sting. But this time she paused, breathing slowly, as Sister Ananda had taught. The anger was there, but she watched it, like a wave rising and falling. It didn't vanish, but it felt less heavy, less hers. She began to practice this with Liam too. Instead of pushing him to meet her expectations, she sat with him after class, asking about his interests. He spoke of drawing, of waves and birds, his face brightening. Maya saw his struggle, not as failure, but as part of his own journey. Her heart softened, and she felt a glimpse of freedom. One evening, Sister Ananda shared a story of the Buddha. A man once insulted him, but the Buddha remained calm. "If you offer a gift and I don't accept it," he said, "to whom does it belong?" The man, confused, realized his anger stayed with him. Maya listened, the words sinking in. Her resentment toward Sarah was a gift she kept accepting, carrying its weight. "What do I do with it?" she asked. "See it clearly," the nun replied. "Name it, feel it, then let it pass. This is the first step of mindfulness right view." Maya nodded, a proverb echoing in her mind. Asterisk, the mind is like a guest house. Let every emotion visit, but none stay forever. Asterisk. She began to practice this seeing. At home, when her husband left dishes unwashed, irritation flared, but she paused, noticing the resentment before it took hold. She spoke to him calmly, and they laughed, washing plates together. At school, when Sarah's name came up, Maya breathed, letting the sting pass without feeding it. Each moment of awareness was small, but it built a quiet strength. She wasn't free of resentment yet, but she was learning its shape, its weight, and how to set it down. Maya's days began to feel different, lighter, as if the air itself carried less weight. The practice of mindfulness, though simple, was not easy. Sister Ananda had warned her, the path is not a straight line, but a spiral, returning to the same lessons with new eyes. Maya found this true. Some mornings she sat in the garden, her breath steady, her mind clear. Other days resentment crept in over Sarah's latest accolade, over a parent's sharp email, over her own imperfections. But now she met these moments with curiosity, not judgment. The Buddha's teaching of right intention became her guide, to choose thoughts that heal, not harm. One afternoon, a storm hit the town and school was canceled. Maya found herself at home, restless, her mind drifting to old wounds. She remembered a childhood friend who had betrayed her trust, a memory she thought she'd buried. The resentment surfaced, sharp and raw. Instead of pushing it away, she sat with it, as Sister Ananda had taught. She wrote in a journal, naming the hurt, the anger, the wish to be seen. As she wrote, tears came, but so did relief. The act of seeing her pain clearly, without clinging, felt like opening a window. A saying came to her, "What you face in the light cannot haunt you in the dark." At school, Maya began to share this practice with her students, not as a lesson, but as a way of being. She noticed Liam struggling with a group project, his frustration mirroring her own past battles. Instead of correcting him, she invited the class to pause, to breathe together. "It's okay to feel stuck," she said. "Just notice it, then try again." The children giggled, but their shoulders relaxed, and Liam's eyes met hers with a shy smile. Maya realized that letting go of her own resentment was teaching her to meet others with patience, to see their struggles as part of their path, not a flaw to fix. Sister Ananda shared another teaching one evening as they watched the sunset paint the sky. The Buddha spoke of right speech, she said. Words can carry resentment or release it. Speak with kindness, not to prove, but to connect. Maya thought of Sarah. The next day at a staff meeting, Sarah shared an idea Maya had quietly suggested years ago. The old sting rose, but Maya breathed, choosing her words. "That's a great idea," she said, her voice steady. Sarah looked surprised, then grateful. The moment was small, but it felt like a step toward freedom, a loosening of the knot she'd carried for so long. As the weeks unfolded, Maya began to see her life as a series of moments, each one a chance to choose mindfulness over resentment. The practice wasn't about erasing pain, but about meeting it with clarity. Sister Ananda had spoken of the Buddha's teaching on right action, to move through the world with care, not to control, but to contribute. Maya took this to heart, noticing how small acts could shift her inner landscape. When a neighbor complained about a noisy school event, Maya listened without defensiveness, offering a kind word instead of a retort. The neighbor softened, and so did Maya's heart. She saw that resentment often came from wanting others to change, but peace came from changing her own response. One day, Liam came to her with a sketch of the ocean, its waves curling with care. "It's for you," he said shyly. Maya's eyes welled up. She saw his effort, his quiet way of reaching out, and it reminded her of her own longing to be enough. She thanked him, not with grand words, but with presence, hanging the drawing in her classroom. That evening she shared the moment with her husband, who listened, his hand warm in hers. These connections, she realized, were the fruit of letting go small, fragile, but real. A proverb whispered in her mind, *, a single kind act ripples further than 1,000 angry words. Sister Ananda introduced Maya to the concept of right livelihood, living in a way that harms none and nurtures all. Maya reflected on her teaching. She'd once seen it as a stage to prove her worth, but now she saw it as a garden, like Sister Ananda's, where she could plant seeds of understanding. She began to create space for her students to share their fears, their dreams, without judgment. When a girl in her class spoke of feeling left out, Maya didn't rush to fix it. She listened, guiding the class to include her, not out of duty, but from care. The room felt warmer, the children more connected, and Maya felt a quiet joy she hadn't known before. Yet resentment still visited. At a parent-teacher meeting, Sarah was praised for a program Maya had helped build. The familiar sting rose, but Maya caught it. She breathed, picturing the weed in Sister Ananda's garden, something to notice, not nurture. Instead of dwelling, she offered Sarah a genuine smile, a small act of right action. Later, Sister Ananda said, "The Buddha taught that freedom comes from releasing, not resisting. Each choice to let go is a step toward peace." Maya nodded, feeling the truth of it, not as a lesson learned, but as a path she was walking. Maya's journey became a quiet rhythm, a dance of noticing and releasing, like waves meeting the shore and retreating. The Buddha's teachings of right effort, mindfulness, and concentration wove into her days, not as rules but as companions. She still felt the pull of resentment when a colleague overlooked her work, or when old memories surfaced, but she met it differently now. Each pang was a chance to pause, to breathe, to choose. She began to see her heart as a garden where weeds of anger could grow, but could also be gently uprooted. Sister Ananda had said, "The mind is a field. What you plant, you harvest. Maya chose to plant presence, to harvest peace. One spring, the school held a festival, and Maya was tasked with organizing a community art display. In the past, she might have strived for perfection, seeking praise. Now she invited her students, including Liam, to share their creations without judgment. The display was messy, vibrant, alive paintings of crooked trees, poems with misspelled words, clay figures that wobbled. Parents and teachers gathered, their laughter filling the air. Sarah approached, offering a compliment on the event. Maya felt a flicker of the old resentment, but she let it pass, smiling warmly. "We all made this," she said, meaning it. The moment felt like a gift, not because she was praised, but because she was free. At home, Maya's practice deepened her bonds. She listened to her husband's worries about his aging parents, holding space for his fears without trying to fix them. With her students, she celebrated their small victories, Liam's growing confidence, a shy girl's first poem seeing their growth as part of her own. A proverb stayed with her, "The heart that gives gathers." She realized that letting go of resentment wasn't about erasing the past, but about living fully in the now, where love and connection could flourish. One evening, Maya sat with Sister Ananda in the garden, the air thick with the scent of jasmine. "You've walked far," the nun said, her voice soft. Maya shook her head. "I still feel it sometimes, the anger, the hurt." Sister Ananda smiled. The Buddha taught that mindfulness is not the absence of pain, but the courage to meet it with an open heart. Each step you take, you are enough. Maya looked at the stars, feeling the truth settle in her. Resentment would come, but it no longer owned her. She was learning to live as the wave, not the storm, moving, flowing, free. Dear listener, this path is yours too. Resentment may visit, but you need not carry it. Pause, breathe, see it clearly. With each mindful step, right view, intention, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, concentration, you release its weight. The peace you seek is not far. It's here, in this moment, waiting for you to choose it.